Let's do a bit of reaction, Andy, because this got me views. Last time it got like 2K views and quite a lot of watch time. So let's just watch more here. Why Hypercarry units are struggling? Okay, let's jump a bit before we watch the video. Okay, so true, I agree on this one. Also first off, did not watch. The Hypercarry unit we have in the game right now are Blade, Jingliu, Akron, Jingyuan, no, not Jingyuan, EO, Hypercarry ratio could be kept as one, but I think he's more of a follow type. I think that's it, right? I can't remember my graph from the other video I make, but I think that should be like the major Hypercarry. And now those only two are relevant. Akron and EO. That is like, is it 2 out of 5? Yeah, 2 out of 5. And Blade and Jingliu are like they fall off hard, man. I don't know why the fuck they fell off hard. Like in the past, like Jingliu does so much damage, but I don't know why she does that shit now. Like, what happened, bro? I think like enemy rest increased or like they got tankier. I don't know. So that's the thing. Is like Akron and EO struggling in the current meta? I don't think so. I think Akron is still meta hard. Like Akron can be either built as Hypercarry or just like being DOT team just to do us like sub DPS. The ultimate does a lot, so why not include her there? And EO, I don't play EO. Like I don't see people play EO, but I think people still say that EO does a lot of damage because Sparkle and Tingyun, all of that. Like Sparkle alone is like so good for Hypercarry. Like Sparkle changed the way you play Hypercarry. Like the way that, because like Sparkle increase more skill point count. That's like fixes EO. That literally fixes EO. And also like just also make a corn way better. Like instead of playing 3 nudity, you can play 2 nudity. That also include Akron plus Sparkle. And somehow that's way better. So I think overall, Hypercarry is not really struggling. Like the past unit is of course, like they are so irrelevant now. But but like the rest of the unit is like still there in meta. I think they're very playable. So let's just watch a video now.
As we near the tail end of version 2, there's a lot that's being discussed about honkai-styles discourse. Questions like which combat engine turned out the best, what new gimmicks or playstyles will be introduced in version 3, and the current state of the meta, among other things. The game now has a substantial number of units with an equally substantial number of ways to form a strong party. Much of version 2 was spent expanding on the various engines we have now. Prevailing wisdom is
just a bit of off topic here. Like, I love that there are like many different playstyles of the game. In the game, break, follow up, just pure damage, Hypercarry, and I think next one is Summoner. I think that's good. Like it gives you more choice on how to build your team, and each build is also very meta. Break and follow up is insanely meta. The new unit is very good. Also Hypercarry as well, I think. But I think a bad, but I think that's also a bad also a disadvantage to this, because like if they are way too much, right, then you have to spread your banner like kind of evenly, because like if like in 3 patches you only support break, that would make break billion times better than Fua and others. And like and that would be the same for follow up or Hypercarry as well, and Hypercarry as well. Like they don't get equal support, so one just get overwhelmingly way better than other. So like a way just to do this is like each patch increase the support for, or like every two patches support for one type, next 2 patch one type, next 2 patch one type. So that would make all of them kind of like equal power. That's just a bit of writing there.
fully aware of the present dominance of break damage and follow-up attacks. Spearheaded by Harmony MC and Facial respectively, their cadres occupy almost the entirety of the Apex tiers and
Okay, what is this? What, going down? No shot. What the fuck are you yabbing here? Akron going down, bro, shut up.
every category possible, from damage dealers to specialists to supports and to sustain. Much attention's been given to them, whereas on the other hand, damage over time's been given the short end of the stick, marking the
Oh
first
yeah, true DOT. I forgot about this. Yeah, DOT actually fall off. Like this thing fell apart.
time they've been decisively excluded from the Apex
It's been so long
tiers in
since they
2
give
out of
a
the 3
good DOT
keynotes,
support.
with there being no evidence to suggest they'll get any support for the remainder of version 2. Not just that, but assuming this video comes out when I expect it to, a couple weeks ago there was a fair bit of controversy towards Akron and Sparkle being knocked down a peg as well.
Oh shit! What drama? Whoa, drama here. Despite Yasuo, who made Akron much better compared to Akron team, virtual team. I'm for a bit. To be clear, Akron is in weak, sure. For sure, put finish on another level, not just in one multiple team, but flowing on most friendly. Without her support, Robin, you can still get Bronya without the but you can still use most of the Akron has better option as well. As the potential was Face Shao on top and her best team on Long Yongju can reach height. Okay. In the future, if Akron receives more teammates to increase the okay, chance one meter of supremacy. Okay. I think the rating this is pretty dog shit, right? Because one, Facial is definitely in a different gameplay than Akron. Akron pure damage, whereas Facial is in it because Facial is like overall a follow attack DPS. And like you literally cannot compare them on equal weight, right? Because follow-up attack support are insane. Like compared to like Robin and Sparkle, Like I think Robin has more power level, buffing follow-up than Sparkle buffing Hypercarry. So like to compare them are like pretty dog shit. Like I think they should like include a tier. No, but I think they should like compare the character intersection and not compare the character to other. Like example of Akron versus Facial. Like Facial is insane in her own category, that is follow up. And if you put Akron in follow up category, she gonna be shit. So I think like this rating here is a bit unfair to her, not lie. Sparkle going down, DOT Hypercarry, Sparkle. Like then again, like they compare Sparkle to Sparkle, a Hypercarry support to a follow-up attack support. Which I don't think that's a fair comparison, not lie.
Which, as you may recall, are 2 prominent members of the Hypercarry archetype.
Also, Sparkle tier 1, by the way. Sparkle tier 1. I think in the thing, like, tier 1 is dog shit, tier 0.5 is okay, and tier 0 is good.
Then I want to go over just that, talk about why Hypercarry
like the way they design this tier list is a bit
and what can be done
bad
to help them out in ways that don't just accidentally buff the dominant engines even more. Unlike damage over time, break, and follow-ups, which are clearly defined by the mechanics from which they derive their name, the Hypercarry engine isn't a formal class in starrail, rather a term coined by the community to represent units who deal damage in ways other than the aforementioned 3. However, if you wish to be pedantic about it, you could
yeah, Silly as well, I forgot. But Silly being like so irrelevant that I forgot. Like, of course you can use her in perfection, but like you need to keep resetting to get her to get like at least 30k score. So you can either go less time investment, or you spend your entire day just playing silly.
Like Facial and Firefly if you so choose. To distinguish the two, let's establish a couple ground rules. Every team features a character who will expectedly deal the bulk of its DPS, even if the rest of the team can also contribute. In any Facial team, it's no surprise that Foxy in general practically 1v9s a game. Likewise, in a Firefly or a Boonhill team, of course they'll be the ones
this is a team built on every game.
Since it's Harmony MC. While that does mean they're the carry of the team, what separates them from hypercarries is what the rest of the team is trying to accomplish. Follow-up attack teams are characterized by everyone working in tandem with each other to collectively boost the entire team's output. Take Facial, Aventurine, Robin, and Topaz, affectionately, if not cringely referred to as Fart. Facial ultimate
what?
Affectionately, if not boost the entire team's output. Take Facial, Aventurine, Robin, and
what did he say?
Affectionately, if not cringely referred to as Fart.
Facial, sure, okay.
Facial gains points towards her ultimate whenever she or her allies attack. In addition, she gets to launch a follow-up attack after every teammate's attack. This follow-up attack then accelerates both Numby's action and racks up stacks towards Aventurine's follow-up, who in turn reciprocate by accelerating stacks on Facial's ultimate, all of which give Robin more energy to then give her team more chances to attack. It's a mutual gain for everyone. You can therefore make the conclusion that while Facial does end up being the carry of the team, it's more of a group effort. By contrast, a Hypercarry's team elects to pool all available resources towards augmenting the Hypercarry in question's damage as far as they can. The 3 supporting units are there solely for the purpose of maximizing the DPS's uptime, power, and consistency. This could range from boosting offensive parameters like crit stats to increasing the number of turns they can take per cycle to
I think this way of team building is fine. Like, I think that every build should have a differentiate between them. Like, follow up, everyone doing, minimal damage, everyone doing average damage, which in some become big damage. And like Hypercarry should be by name. One unit do massive and everyone supporting it. Break, fucking break, DOT, debuff, equal kill. Like, that should be like the differentiation between them. I think it's good. I think it's good. But like, I think the only problem is how they design the support then. Because the only problem with Hypercarry is that if the DPS is down, right? Or if the DPS don't take any move, you're doing nothing at all. So if they make the support like, consistently making DPS do move, then that's good. And I think this like where follow-up can be better in a way. Because like if one may be kind of down for a bit, the rest can still do damage. Like the rest can still carry. Whereas in Hypercarry, the DPS down, therefore run over.
Shielding them from enemy attempts to disrupt their rotation, etc. At the expense of their pressure, the hope is for the carry to deal damage equivalent to 2 or 3 or 4 attacking units, and for a time they were able to do so rather competently. Seela was the first feature 5-star in honkaistarrail and also the first Hypercarry. She had a clear premise, resets. By executing a target, she would gain a substantial boost in damage for her next turn, which would also be accelerated to immediately take place.
The design of Seela like taking damage after the design of Seela taking turn after she kill. That is good. That is like overall good for a Hypercarry. Like, DPS take more turn, do damage, good. I think they kind of need to do this more. Maybe just redesign it. I don't know how for others as well. Akron maybe kinda does it. This is how her ultimate work. Like if you put enough debuff in a field for fast enough, then she can do like a lot of ultimate. That would result in a lot of damage. Maybe just Saber's Blade as well. Like if you take a lot of hit, he do extra damage. Jingliu, bruh, no idea what the fuck you do, bruh. Like she gets stacks and she get to her skill form and then nothing else. You have to fucking put Bronya there or Pocket there to make a move. I don't know how Jingliu but like you can see that the design of like making extra turn on Hypercarry is really there. And maybe like they could do it a bit better, I guess, to make them more meta. Hello, Jeffrey Carson. How you doing?
Strike twice per turn. Usage of turn refreshes from supports like Bronya and Sparkle were especially effective due to its value being doubled on a character like her. Couple that with Seal's ultimate, and she could very easily take 6 turns in one action, making her the poster child of a Hypercarry. The goal of playing her is to get her as close to one-shot as you possibly could to make use of Resurgence each and every turn. Later down the road, we were given Lunai Danheng and Jingliu. Danheng's whole shtick is giving himself a bottomless supply of skill points to get his triple empowered basic attack off every turn if possible, while Jingliu's is all about maximizing her damage to make the most use out of her finite number of empowered skill uses. You'll notice there's no reciprocity between the carry and the supports. All signs point to the carry, whereas in dot, break, and follow-ups, it's less about the carry and more about the team as a whole. It's more about driving and goal instead of facilitating one person's agenda. Part of what enabled Hypercarries to dominate the meta in version 1 and early version 2 was that members of the archetype are fully self-contained. Jingliu, Seela, and Lunai Danheng have everything they need within their base kits. Even though they do have aspects that can be enhanced and interacted with, their own mechanics are accessed by themselves and only themselves.
One energy missing from Robin.
Mechanic is dependent on her dealing the finishing blow against an enemy, while Bronya's skill allows her to do this again. Those two objectives correlate with each other, not cause one to lead into another. There's indirect synergy. Conversely, someone like Kafka, whose skill and ultimate copy-paste all dot effects, gets directly enhanced by other units applying dot effects. It's a feedback loop, aka direct synergy. Early on in version 2, we were graced by Akron, the current running stateswoman of the Hypercarry niche. Unlike those who came before her, she actually has the mechanic that directly hinges on her.
I love how Akron just like broke the fucking game.
Reason she held on for
in damage wise overall.
Others have fallen off.
And then after that, right, and after Akron, right, every new DPS just crept over the old one. I just love how like Akron is like the state of like power grab. Like it refer to like the progression of the power. Like Akron is a name of self. Like you compare Akron to any previous, like you can see the significant damage increase.
Critically high numbers, with access to her ultimate being tied to the frequency in which debuffs were applied to enemies as opposed to energy, she was able to stand the test of time much better thanks to having an element of direct synergy. Therein lies the first of two major causes behind the decline of hypercarries. Most of them lack any semblance of direct synergy with others due to their self-contained nature.
I think that's fine, really. I think really is fine. Because like, okay, it's a bit Brick, right? Because Brick really again only centered around himself. And I think that is what I think that's what different gameplay means. Like, sure, it could be better if you can share a teammate to somewhere else. But I think if you do that a lot, then I think the meaning of like follow-up break became meaningless over time. Because and then if you keep doing sharing, then everyone's gonna do everything all at once. So that is just like a jack of all trade at that point, which is gonna be very boring. And the way they're doing, a contain a contain contain gameplay, like can't share teammate away else. I think that's really good, and like they really like they define that this character need to be used in this team, and if you do anywhere else, that character gonna be shit than others. I think that's fine. I think that's kind of good, and I think the problem why they are struggling because the support is not catching up with others. Like compare Robin with fucking Sparkle. Compare Sparkle with Robin, right? The way Robin buff follow up is way much better than Sparkle buffing Hypercarry. Like they need to release new Hypercarry support that maybe in the same power level. Is Ramay good for break? I think Ramay is pretty good for break. Us break for us Ramay for break, or us Robin for follow up. I think that's their only problem.
Direct synergy makes it so
Of
a character can get
it
stronger
is just
through either
shit
receiving
support.
buffs to their kit or from buffs to the engine with which they synergize. Considering gacha games rarely if ever have balance patches, you have to rule out the first possibility. This means the only way a character gets stronger or weaker is by the second possibility, changes to the engine. But because of hypercarries not possessing any direct synergy, they have essentially no way of getting buffed, or at least no way of doing so in a manner that benefits them proportionally greater than their competition. Look at Topaz for example. From practically mid-tier to now one of the most essential components for the follow-up engine, she might be one of the most indirectly buffed characters throughout the entirety of starrail, in comparison to Jingyuan, whose Lightning Lord doesn't have any way to mingle.
Okay, this guy's dog shit, by the way. This guy's dog shit to say.
With other party members, Topaz's Nubby is a lot more sociable, advancing his action forward by half a turn whenever Topaz and or her teammates deals a follow-up attack. When she first came out she had no one else to play with, but then in 1.6 she received a dedicated follow-up attacker to support in the form of Ratio, then later she received Aventurine, a dedicated follow-up tank to benefit from, and then she received Robin, who while not having follow-up attacks herself, supports the follow-up engine incredibly efficiently. From then on, Topaz continued to get stronger and stronger as more follow-ups came about. Yunli, Feishal, Lingsha, etc. Topaz's kit has not changed at all, but she got stronger and stronger anyway courtesy of the follow-up engine getting stronger and her having direct synergy with it. That's how she was able to mature in value while Jingyuan has been struggling. Jingyuan is a follow-up attacker who is designed like a hypercarry, barring him from partaking in the same benefits.
I think I was about to say something here, but I kinda like lost in thought for a bit. So what problem with Jingyuan is like he's like, okay, here's the thing. If anything, it's a jack of all trades, therefore it means it is shit. No matter how how good it look, it's gonna be shit if it's a jack of all trades. So this problem with Jingyuan here. He's a hypercarry, he's a mix hypercarry and a mix follow-up. The follow-up part is from the Lightning Lord. Also, most of the damage is from the Lightning Lord as well. But a major issue from that is the turn, right? Because the only way to up the turn is for him to do E, I think. Don't know how much though. I think that's like a cap to how much he can increase the Lightning Lord turn. Also increase from ultimate as well, I think. But really not a lot. So that's the problem with Jingyuan there. His main DPS is from the Lightning Lord. And if you don't make lightning rod do that much, and if you make the light, if the lightning rod doesn't take that much turn, then your is gonna be worthless. And that they fix this problem with flop a lot. Ratio flop, the fucking ultimate do this, do something, he turn, do something, he turn again. Topaz also fix the problem as well. You hit something, with Nambi symbol. Pick go up, hit again, pick go up, and then pick do turn. Ultimate as well. And Facial is like good example of this. I don't know how Facial work, but like you keep seeing her, right? Keep doing follow up. I don't know how, and that's good. And that's like the definition of follow up there. Do a lot of follow up and get it, and yeah, do most of the damage from there. And it is just a stupid problem for Jing Yuan. It's like just fucking lightning rod took so long. It's like too slow, way too slow.
In light of their selfish
For
nature,
him to be
Hypercarries are built on the basis of working regardless.
I mean, if lightning rod is fast, it's faster, maybe like 1.5x speed faster, then he might actually be considered as meta.
The team, making it next to impossible to give them a meaningful buff without it coming off as explosive pandering. Xingliu's talent functions on a personal mechanic known as syzygy. The only way to acquire more stacks is by using her base skill or ultimate, not counting her technique being used to start a fight. No other character can give her more stacks directly. The only way they can do so is by giving her more turns to stack up or giving her more energy to use her ultimate, but that's a one-to-one benefit. On the other hand, someone supporting Akron, for example, could get more than a 1-to-1 ratio. Debuffing a target not only grants your party more DPS, but it also works towards Akron's ultimate stacking as an additional perk. With the right team, you can consistently pull off her ultimate once every other turn cycle, or potentially once every cycle.
And this is like a good design for Akron. This is a good design. Make her to somehow make support. No, fuck it. I'm yabbing. Never mind.
Of 1,000,000 damage at a time. Curiously though, with the release of 2.6, Akron's no longer at tier 0 in any game mode.
No, Akron's still tier 0 depending on how you build her. Like, no way she's below tier 0. No shot.
Considering how meta-relevant she is, in that even if the MOC, PF, or APOC cycle has nothing supporting ultimate damage or lightning attacks, she can still...
Like, I still think sometimes you need to take this tier list as a grain of salt. Like, I know there are like multiple theory crafter behind it, but like sometimes, right? Sometimes they could be wrong. Sometimes it could be wrong. Sometimes they are bullshitting. So, in my opinion, right, Akron is still 0 in a way. No way she's like, I mean 0.5 is still good, but no way she's like equal to any other unit. I don't know who, but she still should be tier 0.
Force their way through everything, people are noticeably concerned at the drop in placement. Whether it's merited is subjective. I for one low-key agree that base Akron without her weapon might struggle to keep up against base Facial, but when E0S1 or E2S1 is brought up, then we can debate that another time. In any case, in spite of her modicum of direct synergy, it doesn't change the fact that Akron is first and foremost a hypercarry and suffers just like her peers, even if it's at a lesser degree. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that self-contained...
Okay, I agree that Facial, that's like maybe lower tier in pre-fiction. Because like, if you do a lot of damage, because like pre-fiction have a lot of wave. And you need to do a lot of damage over time, to do the thing. What's like, because Akron is like, Hypercarry, right? The only way the team of Hypercarry can do damage is from the DPS. If you can't make DPS do a lot of work, if you don't make and if the DPS don't have a lot of turn, then of course the team, and of course pre-fiction, then of course Hypercarry gonna be shit in pre-fiction, unlike Break or Fua. So I do agree that Hypercarry is shit on pre-fiction, but there's no way they are that shit on MOC or Apocalyptic Shadow. No way.
For DPS characters often works to their disadvantage in a game like starrail, where team building has everything to do with the team itself, not just one person. While everyone typically has their own personal mechanic, depending on how that influences their kit, it can either give them tons of room for synergy or no room for synergy, and you can see that with a unit like Blade. Blade's unique interactions with health once used to be a source of potential, but now they're what's holding him back. Since the majority of other units don't have any interactions with loss of health, Blade fell off the hardest among himself, Dan Hung.
Okay, low key, right? I just think the problem here is just they're doing nothing at all. Like no matter like how DPS you can, how much support you, how broken the support is. The thing is that they are early in the game, and their shit and the damage is shit. Like you cannot compare blade damage to a fucking Akron. Low key though, low key, like that damage, that skilling are way too low compared to the modern Hypercarry.
And Jingliu, Shade's very specific side effect of draining HP was about the only thing he ever got. In fairness, it's not right to completely disregard one-to-one benefits. A buff is still a buff after all. But opportunity cost is a driving force in almost any game with the meta. Whatever is most optimal or efficient will be naturally and understandably chosen. A character could be objectively good but be considered mid-tier purely because there's someone better than them at that job. Hypercarries not only have trouble receiving new benefits from their team, but they also
Okay, I still think Silverwolf is worth it. I low-key still think Silverwolf is still good. Even though people are saying that Pella were better. I disagree.
suffer from offering little, if anything else, in return. Calling back to the feedback loop we see in the other three engines, the inclusion of a character not only works towards making the carry stronger, but the included character stronger as well. Damage over time, break, and follow-up all have the potential to reach a gestalt, an outcome greater than the sum of its individual parts. Most hypercarries do not. Take the break engine for example. By implementing a character like Ron Mei with Harmony Trailblazer, she gives some more break efficiency to break enemies faster, and they in turn give her more break damage through super break, simultaneously boosting both characters in the process. Whereas if Ron Mei were to support, say, Jingliu, she would give Jingliu more damage, but Jingliu would give nothing to her.
Yeah, because the way that building Hypercarry is a support because the support buff DPS and the DPS supposed to damage, not in return. Like that should be the way they do Hypercarry. Disagree or not, I don't care. But I think that should be the way they do Hypercarry. Support do stuff for DPS. DPS role is to do damage. Nothing else. Nothing at all. And I think that should be the way. That should be the way.
In return. So while on paper Ron Mei is a great support for Jingliu, she's an even better support in other teams. Even Akron, who is an element of direct synergy, offers nothing in return to her party members. Chelcho buffing Akron's ultimate damage and applying debuffs is certainly a great asset to her, but Akron doesn't have anything that makes Chelcho's job.
Yeah, because that's how they are planning. Because that's the way they plan for Hypercarry. You know, Hypercarry by definition is fucking pure damage. Nothing else. So for you to expect that Akron should give something back, it's a bit, you know, like bit too much to ask there.
Easier, it's a one-way street. Taking that into consideration, hypercarries are placed in an overwhelming disadvantage. First, they have to contend with the fact that their kits demand specific things to make themselves stronger, i.e. Dan Hung explicitly needing skill points to do his job, Blade
true. The Dan Hung skill point is pretty shit.
Manipulation for his win condition, or Akron necessitating debuffs. Second, they have to contend with the fact that they're the only one dealing any measurable amount of damage on their team compared to follow-up.
Because that's the fucking definition of Hypercarry, man! That's the definition!
Breaks in damage over time where it's 2, 3, or sometimes all 4 members doing good damage. And last,
because if they make good support for Hypercarry again, then Hypercarry gonna be good again. Same with DOT. DOT was good. Kafka, burst 1, released. Fucking DOT was insane. Over time, no support, they become shit. That's a result of no good support over time. Hypercarry in a confined space, in a insulated system, they're still good. But compared to other, they're shit because you know why? Because their support is good. Their research unit is good. Because fucking Hypercarry is getting nothing so far. And the last one is Yashiu, which is support for Akron. That is good. That makes Akron way better.
But most certainly not least, they also have to contend with the fact that while buffs to them are additive, buffs to those teams are multiplicative. Combining the second and third.
Okay, this is like imagine if they instead of Lingsha buffing break, Lingsha buffing Hypercarry, buffing damage wise. Then this video gonna be like, why is Super Break are struggling? The same thing. It's the same thing. It's just like without any release of new support that make the current team catch up to the meta, they're of course gonna struggle. They're of course gonna fell off.
Problems together, the Hypercarry doesn't have to deal damage equal to that of 3 or 4 party members to stay relevant. They have to deal damage equal to 5, 6, or sometimes 7 to also account for the reciprocal buffs those parties give to each other.
That's why your team is full of support. That's why the team full of support, because the support supposed to make the DPS do more damage. That's why. And I just hate this idea. Hate this idea of every single member need to do a bit of one-to-one benefit. Like, I just found out this why you can't just don't have that, you know? Like, sure, some of Break and Fua have synergy. That's a synergy they have. Because like in the fucking build they are in, they're Break are supposed to do more damage in the Break form. So that means that almost every member need to do like damage, need to do Break damage. That's why runway support, jubilee support, every other Break. Right? Fua, follow-up attack, they're overthink because you need follow-up to do damage. And to do follow-up, you need to do follow-up, the enemy to get hit. And how enemy get hit? By the fucking support. By by fucking members. So they all like indirectly buffing each other in a way. And that's the definition. That is the definition of the build they're in. And that should be the same for Hypercarry, right? Hypercarry, again, the definition of Hypercarry is one member doing massive fucking damage and nothing else. And the rest of the member supposed to buff that one alone. To make that one do like damage equal to 7 of facial follow-up. That should be it. That should be it. Nothing more, nothing less. It shouldn't be always DPS give something back for the support. It always shouldn't be that, you know.
They have to work so much harder just to keep up with dot, follow-up, and break teams.
Yeah, because the support is shit. The support isn't catch up to the new meta.
In a way, Acheron's power creep numbers were not a privilege but a crutch. A crutch to help her survive against the sheer DPS scaling of follow-up and break teams in particular. They had to set her so far ahead of everyone else at the time she was released because even back then, conceptually speaking, the potential for follow-ups and breaks to explode was extremely noticeable. Even damage over time if they got actual support. When they brought Facial, who was given the same what the f numbers and whatnot in her kit, she would have been on par with Acheron if it were just point for point, but she also has the advantage of being part of an engine that can amplify her strength several fold. It was not a matter of if Jingliu, Blade, Seal, and Lunai Danheng would fall off, but when. They, and by extension their supports, were made only marginally stronger than their competition at the time they came out. Acheron was made effectively twice as strong as Jingliu, and she's feeling the pressure of getting outscaled. To be clear, I'm not saying Hypercarry is dead and all the units are washed. I'm just explaining why they were slowly losing ground over.
No, like, you can just say that Silly is washed, Blade is washed. You can't say that, man. No one fucking cares anymore. Like, it is just, you know, like, I just agree that the big three Hypercarry is now dead, long gone. It's just now Acheron or EO now.
Over the past year. For all intents and purposes, they're still good. They're not Yanqing. But seeing as how most
I forgot the guy as well.
Once the best of the best, it's definitely profound. Fixing this can be rather difficult too. They have little if any direct synergy, which makes designing support units just to buff them and no one else close to unfeasible. The most logical choice would be to make a unit who can battery ultimates, seeing as how ultimates are pretty important for hypercarries. The problem is that reliance on ultimates are not exclusive to just carries. Topaz, Rappa, and Dr. Ratio benefit just as much from getting more ultimates as Seela and Jingliu. I mean, granted, most follow-up and break units don't particularly need a battery for their ultimates, as they either have easy access to them like Firefly, or don't need one like Facial.
Okay, if they want to like make a specific support for hypercarry, then reject the ultimate for them. And don't make that support for any other team. They could do one simple restriction. You get more energy for ultimate, but you get less damage from follow-up or break. That is just that simple. One simple line that just confine the support just for DPS, just for the follow-up. That's it. One simple line, nothing else.
This close to.
I mean, that's gonna make people fucking scream, you know, like, oh my god, this buff hypercarry. But like, bro, it is designed for that one archetype. If you don't like it, don't fucking pull for them then. Just shut up.
Nothing that helps out hypercarries more than the other three. Even turn advancing, which has been seen as the traditional way to make hypercarries better, can be just as beneficial for break, follow-up, and dot teams. Probably the only way to make hypercarry supports is through massively amplifying a single character, like Tingyun, seeing as the other teams are more than just one person. But right now, single target supports are given the same numbers as supports who buff the entire team. The single target supports need to have more. It's unlikely that hypercarries
Not
will
really.
ever make it back to the Apex tiers unless Hoyo makes it obvious they're trying to
Like maybe you can either scale up. Okay, Akron is right now right now Akron is like very broken, right? And you can do is scale up, maybe make a new DPS. That's maybe make a new DPS, new hypercarry DPS. That is Akron, but scale up a bit, maybe like 1.5x power. Or make a support that is just same power level as Robin for follow up for hypercarry instead. Like make a Tingyun that is just 3x better. Simply that is just designed for hypercarry. And if you want to restrict this only for hypercarry, again make a simple restriction to make the allies do less follow up or break damage. Just as simple.
do so. Therefore, they just have to figure it out for units going forward. They should definitely aim to give future hypercarries a stronger baseline than attackers of other engines, like how they do with that.
Just put a lock in. Just put a lock. Simply put a lock.
So as to allow them to have some measure of mana resilience. Alternatively, if they're open to keeping the roster from power creeping too much and breathing new life into hypercarries, they could stand to release more specialized support. Blade is still waiting for HP supports. It would be interesting if Seala could.
Even though if Blade get HP, right, it needs to be do a lot more HP. Because from what I see, Blade scaling is shit. Blade scaling is very dog shit.
Have a party consisting of herself and 3 turn events
compared to Akron,
like 12 actions in 1 turn, or supporters specific.
I think like the new DPS, I think Akron is like the new base for how good a new hypercarry gonna be.
Specifically gives more stacks.
If it wasn't Akron, why play them? If it better Akron, play them.
Of a character's respective stacks, so that Jingliu can get more synergy and Danhan can get more Squama Sacrosancta. And obviously Akron still has room to get stronger if more debuffs come about. There was a funny thing they did with equipment with the Lushaka set, so bringing hypercarries back is not entirely out of the question, it's just really challenging based on their design approach. For all we know though, they might just phase hypercarries out altogether and make everything a team.
That is the design for it solid. But the execution is bad. The execution for this is pretty bad.
Effort, but which do you prefer? Do you think hypercarries need to stay in the game, or do you personally not care if they stop releasing them? Let me know in the comments down below. That's it.
Like I think hypercarry is still like the hypercarry is like still the core of every fucking game, right? Genshin of them, just pure out damage. What Akron counts one, right? Without Web, Akron, not Akron. I'll let you know. Without Web or anything else, still do good damage. Physical, that's like kind of hypercarry there. Is that it? Yeah. And like in Genshin, right? We know that there are a lot of reaction. Web, but a lot of reaction meta. Fucking what? Just entire Dendro itself is one. Web Web melt. Like there are a lot also include, and you know like you cannot get rid of hypercarry. Like it is a core of the game, bro. Like even though you don't intend to do it, people will not find out a way to do it.
For today, so if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you love to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @VarsFarum, join my Discord server, and check out my other archetype discussions.
Oh, Libra Carto.
But till next time, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
Overall, the video, I think it's just a bit solid. It's just a bit solid, to be fair. Is it like? I mean, I do have some I have a lot of disagreement with this, but I think it's fine. Like niche, you know, a thing, but like overall the video is still solid. Okay, this is jabbing here. Holy, you can clear more between investing in DPS seem like massive waste of resources moving in 2.0. Oh yeah, the new like makeup is gonna be focused on summoner, right? So of course I would make hypercarry way more worthless to roll. The timing of this video is Diabolical. Is it Sunday release? I'm guessing or something. I don't know. Perform is focus and ability. Miss MC for Firefly, the main head. The upgraded hunt, the most for facial. I mean, yeah, right. Like all the new support. Hold on, if there was a 4-star version of Yashu Akron Hood, lasts a lot longer in the meta. Other thing that would help is a sub DPS like hunt much. I mean, sure, make a sub DPS also buff. I mean, it would be hard. It would be really hard for Hypercarry. Make a support that somehow do massive buff and also do sub DPS. That is gonna be fucking massively broken. I remember that people talk about Yellow Brave being good at each other. Oh yeah, they are, right? True. I don't know how to play that though. Really don't know how. Do you like just buff Blade or you just buff Jingliu? I have no idea. Also experimenting with Akron and Welt. Sure, I guess. Alright, sure. But yeah, overall decent videos. Go sub to this guy, like the video as well. So yeah, for you.